The warm-up, 5-minute warm-up is complete. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into our intervals. So there's a 10K, 5K, and mile pace. So this is based on how fast you're running at those distances on average. So for me personally, what I'm gonna do for 10K pace is probably keep it around 7:30, 8 minutes. 5K pace, I wanna be in the low 7s to about 7. But I'm pretty sure if it's only 45 seconds, I'll probably run it under 7. And then for mile pace, I definitely want to be six minutes or less. Good speed work instead of all this monotonous long distance work every day. All right guys, speed run is complete. Wasn't too long of a workout today. It was like 25 minutes, but this was actually a much needed good change from doing the long 30 to an hour or longer minute runs that are just monotonous. Like this weekend, I have a 16 to 18 miler. I finished my 16 miler last weekend. If you didn't see it, I have a video on YouTube Shorts and Instagram, TikTok, wherever I'm at. I'm Howardson Strength on all my platforms. So there's that. Right now we're about to head back. We're gonna go make some breakfast. I'll give y'all some tips and tricks when we get back and some stuff that's I've found useful for me during marathon training. It's the stuff that might be useful for you. So this is what breakfast was looking like this morning. I decided to change it up from the same old 2 eggs, egg whites, and oatmeal. I'll probably go back to that tomorrow, but just to give a little bit of variety. So this is just a smoothie with some mixed berries, spinach, and frozen banana. So there's a lot of micronutrients, a lot of vitamins in here, a lot of antioxidants. And then right here we just have the Kodiak cakes, double chocolate, protein pancakes, and I threw 2 eggs in here. So this has quite a bit of macronutrients, not as much fat really. This is a lighter fat meal, heavy carb and pretty high protein. I don't know the actual macros, I didn't calculate them this time. I'll only do that like in a full day of eating for you guys. But I'm gonna go ahead and smash this and then we'll talk about some marathon training. I am at Samantha's Bakery and Cafe. It is a local cafe shop here in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. You know, I always love supporting local businesses. Their coffee is really, really good. So this is a honeybee latte. So it's basically espresso, whole milk, and then some honey and cinnamon, but it's really good. Pretty busy with work this morning ever since breakfast. I'm gonna do my devotional real quick and then I'll give y'all some updates about the marathon. So I thought I would recap basically what we went over in church on Sunday, Matthew chapter 25 verse 14 through 30. So basically this is the parable that Jesus tells of loaned money, and basically there's 3 men and this businessman or something like that, you could say, gives each of the 3 an amount of money, 3 bags of silver, however much it says. So one he gave 5 bags, one he gave 2, and another he gave 1. And he gave these to each of them based off of their abilities, what they could handle. To the servant that he gave 5 bags of silver and 2 bags of silver, they both invested their bags of silver and came back out with, the one that had 5 came back out with 5 additional, and one with 2 came back with 2 additional. The one who received 1 bag of silver though, he basically stored it away, was scared to lose it by investing it. And the master, when he got back, the businessman, however you want to set the situation, was not happy with him because he just stored it away. He's like, I could have done that. That was useless to me. In my footnotes here, what it talks about is God gives us time, gifts, and other resources according to our abilities. He expects us to invest them wisely until he returns. We are responsible for using what God has given us. The issue is not how much we have, but how well we use what we have. That's the key point today that I want to put out there is, having gratitude, like I said in the last video that I did a devotion. Have gratitude in everything that you have and use what you have to glorify God. He's never going to give you too much than you can handle. Just be thankful for what you have and just give the glory to him and use it to further his kingdom. All right, so one more thing is what I wrote down in church on Sunday. So this is just what I wrote down. This is unedited, raw. I haven't even read it yet. So I said, God is and will always be faithful, even when we are not. However, this is not what the Lord calls us to do. He calls us to be faithful and spread the word and goodness of God, to share the gospel, increase the believers for the Great Commission. But how should I do this? Take what God has given you and you have gratitude in everything, trust in him, and use what he has blessed you with to accomplish his will and give him the glory. Lean on him and the Spirit in times of distress, for God gives wisdom to those who ask, but in this God expects us to be faithful servants. He expects us to pray and meditate on his word so that we can be prepared when we do his will. And that's what I wrote down. Alright, so the marathon. So training has been going very well. We're halfway through 7 weeks out, about to move into 6 weeks out. I have a 16 to 18 mile long run this weekend. Last weekend I did a 16 mile long run, furthest I've ever gone. Felt really good. The last 2 miles were kind of rough, but felt a lot better than I did on the half marathon. And a big thing that contributed to that was the course. This course I chose was much flatter. It was a 1 mile loop. I did it 16 times. So my advice to you, and if you are trying to run a further distance than you ever have before, choose a course that is pretty flat, that you can do comfortably. Don't just be training for something and then you decide, I've been training for 10 miles, or the furthest I've gone is 10 miles, then I'm going to go do a half marathon. And the course I've been doing 10 miles on isn't very difficult, and now I'm going to do a difficult course. You need to ease into it. You need to gradually get acclimated to the course as well as the mileage, not just one or the other, because the elevation changes can affect you greatly. That's one thing. So that went very well. Second thing is probably in my marathon training right now, I'm using the Nike Run Plan marathon training. You can find the PDF online. It's pretty simple. You have a lot of flexibility in how you want to do your workouts. They're there for you, but you can change and adapt them. So it's 5 workouts a week. These next 2 weeks are going to be the roughest up until the marathon. So I looked at my whole schedule out right now and it's just building. So 16 to 18 miles long run this week. Next week is just a time run, which is pretty long. But then the next week is a 22 to like 24 mile run, something like that, or 20 to 22. It's pretty far. But after that, it's just taper. Each week is like backwards almost from what it's been building up. So you're like going up and then 5 weeks out, start going back down all the way to that marathon, so that you can recover and adapt. When I get to 5 weeks out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a full week of marathon training, and I'm going to document that. I feel like that'll be really good. That's going to be the most mileage I have in any week, really. It's going to be the most difficult week in training. It's going to be the peak of it. So I'll bring y'all through that. It'll probably be full week of marathon training, and then I'll have another video that's like my meals and what I'm eating and trying to fuel. I might do one, incorporate supplementation into that one as well, and what supplements I use and recommend for doing endurance events and marathon training. I could get into a lot more nitty-gritty details and what you need to do when you start marathon training, but everybody's situation is going to be different, and just getting started, you're your own person. So what worked for somebody else isn't necessarily going to work for you. What works for me might not work for you. You have to get out there and know your own body, know what works for you, and then you can adapt and change how your training is and how you want to do your training. But really just understanding yourself and getting out there, taking the first steps is really going to be what makes you successful and makes you enjoy it. Alright guys, I'm gonna sit here and finish my coffee, and I'm about to have to leave and go do some more work. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it wasn't like the normal videos. I try to do a lot more talking, just almost like a morning in the life type of deal, but without like the morning routine aspect, just more laid back vibes. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'm going to try to bring y'all a variety of stuff with my endurance training, strength training, nutrition, and just overall lifestyle and health and fitness. God bless, and y'all have a great day.